Nothing fancy. Nothing fancy for the night. I had, I'll be honest, I had spent like, last couple of days and today bouncing in my head different ideas of things I could do for the day. And ultimately, I came close to doing something. And I don't necessarily want to spoil it because I might hold it off for something later. Um, but ultimately, I just decided, let's just not. What is a classic Austin move? And the classic Austin move is not to put in too much effort. And just do a chill little Sunday night stream for the day. I had an alright day. Nothing too exciting. I wasn't obviously expecting much with current stuff going on. And I do enjoy my days to myself, so yeah, it was a nice day, and ready, sadly, for a week ahead of us, for us all as a human race. Yeah, it was good. And we're starting somewhat decently earlier tonight. Nothing nothing too late. I don't know how long tonight will go. If I get really into it, then maybe we'll go for a while. If I feel like just ending prematurely, then we'll go ahead with that as well. Technically birthday stream indeed. I think this might be the first time I did like an actual birthday stream since I launched the channel. I was trying to check, maybe a couple weeks back, I was checking stats and everything to see when I created the channel and everything. And there's some differences in what I'm counting as like the launch date and everything, because I'd at some point created the channel because I wanted to get the URL and the name, and same with the YouTube, and then the YouTube and this went through a couple different iterations of what I was doing with them. And I think I was checking, and I don't think I had done birthday stuff before. Also, for my birthday stream, we need to contact Mr. Twitch and let me be an affiliate on Twitch so that I can start doing other things with the channel. I so badly want to just test the waters and commission art from someone who wants to do digital art, like yourself, if you were up to it. Channel art, channel art, and if I got to affiliate, an emote would be dope, and I could do that. I need to contact Mr. Twitchio, johntwitch.com. So it's certain barometers. I think it's 4 different barometers to hit affiliate. It's 50 followers, which I'm at currently. I was at 51, and then during the I finished this is a funny story. I finished fucking Destroy All Humans 2, and then that guy came back on Saturday being obnoxious, and Disc came in and she gave a warning to him, and then he was still being obnoxious, and right towards the end she just timed him out for like 10 minutes or something, and I finished and platinumed the game within those 10 minutes, and then I could see like I can track certain stats and everything, and then I lost the follower right towards the end, and then I was like, oh, that probably was him, all butthurt, and sure enough, it was him. So that was funny. It was a highlight of that Saturday stream. Uh, oh yeah, he was chatty. Uh, I say he. They were chatty to say the least, which is fine. That's not the problem. It was only really bad there towards the end when Dis came in, and so like I was. She messaged me right before she did. She's like, "Is it alright if I do?" Because we had talked about it previously, and I was like, "Hey, you're a mod. I trust you implicitly to make those decisions." And then like I saw the ticker thing because I can see like certain mod stats and everything when things go down. It was just a funny. It was like the first thing on the first time on the channel where we've had to. I take that back. I had to kick someone like a year ago or something off the channel because they were just being dumb. Yeah, I need my Bezos bucks. So the requirements: 50 followers. I'm at. I think you have to stream 8 or 7 unique days within a month, a calendar month, which easy enough. There's some time thing where it's like, or it might be like 5 days, and then a time requirement is like 7 hours within a month. It's on like a running month thing. And then the hardest one, not hardest one, but I have to hit an average over the course of 30 days. Not 30 days of streaming, but 30 days of 3 viewers or more. Which I'm going to be completely real. I've had discussions about this before. If I really wanted to, and if I could get like 1 or 2 willing participants, totally could game the system. Just put it out on the table. Because I'm pretty sure all it would take is, like I said, 1 or 2 willing participants, or even myself, to just turn on the computer, turn on another device, and just boot up the stream while I'm doing it. Because then I'm pretty sure it counts at all. Like I'm not even sure you'd have to have an account. It could just be like a lurker thing. And I've waffled on if I care enough to actually go ahead with something like that. Because part of me, it's not like a pride thing. I don't want to say pride. Part of me would be like, hey, this is cool if I could just get over that little hump, little thing. Cut this, just beep. That'd be funny if I somehow got John Twitch come knocking on my door. If you hear knocks on my door during the stream tonight, then you know what's happening. I'm being swatted from Twitch themselves. But I just want to be able to do it because like a lot of the art and stuff on my channel and basically just info on it and everything is in need of like a nice cleanup and update and overhaul kind of. And I have kind of, and art wise especially as well, I've kind of just been delaying because I'm like, oh, it'd be cool if I could hit the thing, especially now in the past like few months where I've actually given more of an effort into certain stuff and just go streaming more consistently. What was the train of thought? A text was coming, a string of texts was coming through and I got distracted. Because I've been wanting to hold off on doing all the updates and everything and overhauls along with the art that I want to get, and channel art and an emote. Because I've got it, like I said, I've got a couple ideas. I want a bub emote. It'd be dope. But I need to hit that thing. Hey Dis, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. I was talking earlier about when you had the fucking Destroy All Humans stream on Saturday. I had touched upon that. And then I was also talking about how for my birthday, we need to just contact Twitch. I'm sure they have a business email. And just tell them they should just make an exception for me and just allow me to be an affiliate so I can do stuff. I'm sure if I tell them it's my birthday, they'll understand. I know me and you have had the talk where I was like, I get it. Hitting 3 on average viewers, probably difficult for me just because I stream at weird times sometimes and I play weird games. It's not like fucking huge huge viewership base and everything. And then I was joking, half joking about just gotta fudge the numbers. I gotta have like 2 or 3 people just boost the numbers for me. Just over the course of like a month. Just a month is all I'm asking. Get it, and then I'm out of here. And then I'm like, cool, I can do shit. I've got pride though. What am I gonna do? Fucking Call of Duty. Fortnite? You want me to boot up Fortnite for the first time in my life? Kill me now. Kill me now. I'm fine with not being an affiliate if it means I'd have to play Fortnite. Chess. Also, I'd rather play Fortnite than Valorant. I'm not even gonna play Valorant. I don't want to do that shit either. I could clown people in chess, though. Let's be real. I've got the skills. All right, I sat on this for what, 2 days or so. Friday night, for some reason, where we ended this, it seemed really heavy to me. I think I was also in a mood, so like, it was weirdly hitting me. This last part, maybe it's just me, but it seemed really heavy and dark. This whole story about the wife being killed, and I was just like, and seeing Minorikawa sad was bumming me out and depressed, and I was, ugh. I'll play chess though if it'll give me all the viewers. Oh, was it last night? Man, I'm not even. It was last night, yeah. Oh, my days are all mixed up. I forgot. For a second in my head, I was thinking I had just done Destroy All Humans earlier in the day, and then took the night off. But you're right. I was in fact here. You know what the problem is? I feel like the gap is so wide because I was up so early this morning. Like, super fucking early. So then today feels like it was like a day and a half almost. It's like the situation going here. What was the bad ending here? He took on the old debt. Set out of the new life at sea. Oh, we have to figure out Toyama. If it basically tells us it's not Toyama that probably died in the minivan. So we have a full-on Maria and a full-on Achi storyline. I think I decided we were going to do Maria since we already kind of know what Maria's up to. And Maria's up to being held at gunpoint, which is a thing. I walk counter to the throng of people heading toward the scene of the explosion. The explosion happened in Shibuya-ku, Jinin, 1-ko. Near the intersection of Koendori and Oregon Hill. We're starting off great. Starting off great. There's a gun pressed against my back, leaving me no choice but to continue marching forward. I don't have time for this right now. There's something I need to do. My frantic sense of urgency grows and grows. Kanan. The only clue I have is that name. The other hazy snippets that have surfaced in my memory provide no answers. Please, just tell me, I murmur. Do you know who I am? When the man with the cane doesn't answer, I stop in my tracks. I'm going to start shouting, I warn him. If you want to find out who you are, then do as I say. The barrel of the gun jabs more forcefully into my back. Oh, guns. Okay. Once we find Hitomi Asawa, you'll remember, whether you like it or not. Guess I have no choice but to keep moving then. Also, since earlier today, when you had brought up the fact that how did Daisuke know that Hitomi has Bombay blood, I've been thinking about that now all day, and I racked my brain trying to be like, was there something earlier in the story that gave off something? And the only thing I can think of is that there wasn't, and that it might be explained later on. I don't know, but it's been bugging me. Just thought I'd put that out there into the air. Are your memories really that precious to you? The man mutters as we start to move again. I'm taken aback by the question. Well, yes. I mean, isn't that pretty normal? There's a bit of a pause before he replies, his voice sad and distant. You're not going to remember just the good times, you know. What do you mean? I mean that sad and painful memories are going to resurface too. Sad. I guess I hadn't really thought about that. But still, whatever kind of memories they are, they're all a part of me. Aw, shit. We're getting Kingdom Hearts Chain of Memories. When you walk away, chain of memories. See? You're about gaming the system. I will full on just get a couple of things, turn on the streams on the other things, and then just profit. People still say that, right? But yeah, this talk of memories is very much like the chain of memories to me. Call my friends. Yes, all my multitude of friends. Yeah, Daisuke was there. Like, he was at Endo Electronics. He runs Endo Electronics. He did the interview with Minorikawa. And I don't recall anything that even potentially hinted at the fact that he knows who. That's why I think... And it seems like that's such a big plot point thing. To be like they wouldn't just not touch upon it. And that just makes me think that somewhere in Achi's remainder of his story, he's going to talk to his dad. Or there's got to be some kind of like flashback or something. I don't know. I'm the person I am now because of sorrow and pain too. I want to remember. I want to remember who I am. Exclamation point. The gunman directs me dispassionately along a series of quiet side streets. Right here. Order them to watch. Well, I appreciate that. We're just the no friends gang over here. Although there is a thing, and this was a while ago when I researched this, like sometimes even Twitch doesn't even accurately track like stats appropriately. Like even their own counters, even at low numbers, are like off a lot of the time. It sounds like. Yeah, it's fucked up. Twitch, when it comes to like monitoring numbers of channels and stuff, it's all fucked up. Yeah, it's weird. It's weird. Stop at his words. In front of us is an old multi-tenant office building. We ride the elevator to the 8th floor, then use the emergency exit to take the stairs up to the rooftop. Someday I'll be an affiliate. Years from now, I'll be 47 and still streaming, and they'll come out with 428 Shibuya Scramble 2. And I'll be here reading it. And I'll be an affiliate at that point. A cool breeze blows across my cheek. Sit down there. I do as he says, settling myself on the outdoor air conditioning unit. The man lowers his gun, but keeps it in his hand. In hand. We'll wait here for a bit. Just chilling on an AC unit. For how long? He lets out a rueful chuckle. Guess we'll have to wait and see. I decide there's no point in trying to fight him. With him. For now, I have to hope he's telling the truth, and whatever's coming will help me get my memories back. If I don't know my past, how can I know what to do about this Kanan stuff, or anything else? I stare up at the sky as I wait for whatever this assassin is waiting for. The silence between us is suffocating. Finally, I can't take it any longer. She beats the shit out of him. Hey, so I think this is yours. I hold out the notebook I picked up earlier. The man's surprise is plain on his face. Where did you get that? I saw the picture inside. He snatches the book out of my hand. Then he flips through it, looking sad. I'm afraid that another agonizing silence is about to descend when he speaks at last. This is a picture of me and my childhood friends. Oh, we're gonna get sad. We're gonna get sad. His voice is low and quiet. We were inseparable back when we were kids. The boy here, he liked to fiddle with machines, always doing things like taking apart radios and whatnot, and putting them back together. Maybe we'll learn how they know that the Hitomi Asawa has the Bombay blood from this guy. Maybe he'll drop some hint and be like, hey. I mean, it's just a guess, but... Damn, cue the sad music, let's go. He was a total bookworm too, so he got picked on a lot. But I was always there to save him from the bullies. All of a sudden, the guy's in a sharing mood, I guess. I can feel his aura of murderous rage starting to abate. The girl here was the same age as us, but she felt more like a big sister. Whatever stupid things my other friend and I got up to, she was always willing to laugh it off. No. Don't do that. Just listen. I decide to stay quiet and keep listening. We both had a thing for her. A bashful little smile comes to his face. When we were in high school, she told me that she liked me too. So the two of us started dating. But I just have to ask, what about the other guy? He never said anything. I'm not sure how he felt deep down. Oh, alright. So then is she your wife now? No. We broke up not too long afterward. The man carefully slips the notebook into the pocket inside his jacket. How come? It was nothing in particular, really. Things just didn't work out. He lets out a little chuckle, then stands up and brushes the dust off his pants. He looks strangely lonely. Damn it. Damn. Very weird dichotomy there. Being like, walk. I got a gun at your back. And let me tell you the sob story. Let me tell you why I've got you at gunpoint here. I guess that just leaves Achi. I don't think there's a jump into... Oh? I take it back. This might be the jump I'm looking for. Although this seems like it'd be way late. Guess I'll find out here. Oh, by God! Maria's storyline is saved. I hear a faint voice and realize that the man is listening to a wireless radio. I've managed to secure Hitomi Asawa at Shibuya Central Hospital, the voice says. A gleam comes to the gunman's eyes. He pulls his cell phone from his jacket and hurriedly makes a call. I've secured Maria Asawa, he says to whoever's on the other end. Huh? Maria Asawa? Is my name Maria Asawa? You need to bring Hitomi Asawa to my location at once. Hitomi? Hitomi Asawa? If I'm Maria Asawa, what sort of relationship do I have to Hitomi? If you don't bring her, I'll kill Maria. Then my captor hangs up. Were you serious just now? My voice wavers uncontrollably. She's bold, standing up to this guy who's got a limp and a gun. I would just sit there. I would just be like, alright, guess I'm in for the ride here. What do you mean you'll kill me? Don't look at me like that. Don't look at me, don't look at me. He steps in closer to me, his expression dangerous and sweaty. That killer's edge that he lost during our little talk is back in full force. Just bear with me a little longer. He blindfolds my eyes with some sort of towel. I can't see through it at all. Just then, I hear Kanan's voice inside my head. My memories are like shards of broken glass, tumbling through my mind all out of sequence. Kanan. Cat's Cradle. How are you able to do that when the string is so tangled up? Oh, once you know the trick to it, you can do it with your eyes closed. I'm showing Kanan how to do a cat's cradle. She reaches out for the string. Huh? She doesn't get a hold of it quite right. What gives? Despite her efforts, the string gets all jumbled up. No, not like that, I say. Hook your index fingers through the front part of the string. No, I get that. Kanan's getting irritated. Is this flashback setting up that Maria, with her eyes closed, with the bandana, is somehow gonna save her life with Cat's Cradle? Is she gonna employ Cat's Cradle to somehow overpower Tatsuno, not Takano, Tatsuno. I'm getting all the names confused. But after giving it a few more tries, she finally manages to pull it off. There we go, she says. Look at that. Seeing her innocent little smile bolsters my own spirits. That's neat. Thanks for teaching me. Oh, it's nothing special. Here, as a thanks, let me teach you some skills to help protect yourself. She, moves her hand a bit, and then the cat's cradle, goes around the neck. Abruptly, my memory jumps forward a bit. Kanan has been training me in some form of self-defense. Techniques for protecting oneself when attacked. Rather than defeating the opponent, self-defense training generally prioritizes simply getting oneself away from danger. Some people consider behavioral tenets, such as run away when you're attacked, or don't go near dangerous places, to be forms of self-defense as well. Also, this makes sense now. We see why, while she was wearing the Tama mascot, how she could beat Miku earlier. Don't overthink it, she says. People will either try to punch you, kick you, or grab you. If you can stay ready for those three things, you'll be able to take it from there. She demonstrates some defensive movements as I watch. I follow suit, doing my best to mimic her. Okay, let's do this. Action! Kanan throws a punch at me. I dodge, grab her by the wrist, and give her arm a hard twist. Incredibly, she goes whirling through the air. She lands nimbly on her feet, a little grin coming to her face. She's like a fucking ninja. Nicely done, she says. Middle Eastern ninja. I stare down at my own hands. Did I really just do that? Once you repeat the movements enough, your body will treat them like second nature. Second nature. I do as she says, trying to repeat the movements over and over. At first it feels like a silly gimmick, but eventually I can feel the motions growing smoother. There you go. People like those thugs we met before won't get the drop on you again. I love how, like, I barely have any change in my voice for all these different characters. Like, in my head, I feel like I'm giving them slightly different, like, inflections and everything. But every time I go back and listen to some older parts of these, it's like the same fucking thing throughout the whole video. Thugs, question mark. Now my memories zip further back into the past. I was wandering the streets trying to get back to my hotel, but I'd gotten lost. By the time I realized I'd wandered into some dodgy back streets, I was already surrounded by people giving me threatening looks. They must have been thugs looking for tourists to rob. If they had caught me, I'm not sure I would have made it out alive. But they hadn't. Kanan had seen to that. Thank you so much for what you did for me. I didn't want there to be a scene here, Kanan says bluntly as she surveys the aftermath of the thugs' attack. That's all. I'd happened to be right underneath her apartment window when I was nearly abducted. Bit by bit, my memories of Kanan are starting to resurface. Just a little more. Just a little more, and I'll have myself back. I'm sure of it. Detective Tatsuno, where are you? A man's voice suddenly snaps me back into the moment. It's Kano. I've come as you asked. The gunman grabs me by the arm and yanks me to my feet. Where's Hitomi Osawa? He snarls. Why didn't you bring her? Detective Tatsuno, why are you doing this? Is that really Maria? My captor removes my blindfold. It's a blimp. The first thing I see is a huge blimp drifting slowly by overhead. Huh? I'm sure I've seen it before. And pretty recently at that. Blimp flashback. There's a flash of revelation inside my head, like a dam bursting. My memories come flooding back to me. The fuck? Alright. Last night, I was at a party, a sort of mixer with the exchange students. Someone was plotting to use this party as an opportunity to abduct my sister, Hitomi, and so I told Hitomi that the party started 1 hour later than it really did. I had a plan, to let myself get abducted in Hitomi's place. Of course, the idea wasn't just to let myself get kidnapped. The necklace I wore was outfitted with a tiny GPS. Wherever I happened to be taken, Kanan would be able to track my location. What we hadn't counted on, though, was my necklace getting torn off when I was attacked. The plan, it failed. I'd managed to grab hold of it, but I hit my head when I was being shoved into the car, and it slipped from my grasp. I'm not sure how far we drove after that. In my fuzzy memories, I recall gazing blearily out the car window. It's a fucking Aya Kamiki blimp. I swear, there had to have been some tie-in with the real Aya Kamiki back in the day, on the Japanese Wii 2008, Aya Kamiki, or the PR, paid this game maker to just plaster the image of Aya into this. That was when I saw the blimp, right after we parked. Jesus, that noise is terrible. Yes, it went fine. There was a man talking to someone on a cell phone. Alright, I'll shut her up inside the storeroom. I'll be waiting in the room upstairs. Some brain-controlling sounding noise. The man dragged me out of the car and shoved me into some dark storeroom. Oh, God. Then, I guess for good measure, he hit me on the head again. Smack. That's right. There's more of it coming back to me now. You've spent your life living in a country at peace, in Japan. You couldn't possibly understand me. Yu-Gi-Oh! Kanan again. So it's not like she and I became fast friends right away or anything. The two of us were too different in a lot of ways. Where do you draw the line? What would you protect with your life? What does justice mean to you? A forlorn look came to her face whenever Kanan asked me a new question, and I never had a good answer for any of them. My flimsy grasp on my own personal identity made it hard for us to get along, yet I kept visiting Kanan's place for the duration of my trip. I recall doing the cat's cradle there at the table one time, when we didn't have anything in particular to talk about. Dun dun dun. Do 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 do. Her eyes had gone wide even, when she saw me deftly manipulating the string with my fingers. I was overcome with the guitar picking there for a second. Who taught you how to do that? She asked. My mother. My real mother, that is. Kanan furrowed her brow. What do you mean, real? As opposed to my stepmother, I mean. My birth mother died after getting real sick. I was only 5 years old, so I don't remember her that well. I see, Kanan said. Her expression remained unchanged. What about your parents, Kanan? I don't have any. They died during the war. The bluntness of her response made my hand stop, the string still stretched between them. Sensing that we were treading on some serious ground, I hurried to change the subject. Do you have any friends? No. Well, I used to have one. Her use of the past tense made me fear the worst, and I was right. He was killed, too, by an arms dealer named Alfred. Alfred? Alfred. The name. I'm over here pointing at the TV screen and the name Alfred. Like I've just solved some fucking mystery. Her tone was dry, matter of fact. Taking revenge for his death is my sole purpose in life. Despite the gravity of her words, her face was an unreadable mask. She seemed almost incapable of human emotion. So, what sort of person is this Alfred? A destructionist who masquerades as a terrorist. Destructionist? That sure wasn't a term that came up a lot back in Japan. Alfred doesn't believe in God and holds no political ideology. The chaos and destruction is just to earn money in order to carry out more terrorist acts. So you're saying this Alfred commits terrorism because it's fun? Kanan nodded. That's why every now and then, Alfred changes loyalties. Just when you think you found ties to some Middle Eastern terrorist organization, turns out the job was for the American CIA. What the heck? So Alfred stands for nothing then? Kanan smiled dismissively at my little childish outburst. Harsh. Oh, I'm Kanan, I'm so mature. I couldn't help but feel a bit patronized. I twiddled my fingers, turning my cat's cradle into a bridge. Fancy. Kanan's eyes fixed right back on the string. A tiny surge of pride replaced my annoyance. She went quiet, watching... She went quiet. I was confused there. Watching closely as I worked my fingers. The tension in the room faded as the silence between us lengthened. My stepmother's the sort of person who couldn't do this sort of thing, I said at last. For some reason, I had a sudden urge to talk about my personal life. I guess she cares about herself more than looking after her children. She's not a bad person, though. She gives me weird bits of advice, like telling me to find someone to date or that a woman's life is defined by a man. Fucking I, dude. I's the worst. But it's not like I hate her or anything. Would you mind teaching me? Kanan asked softly. What? How to find a guy to date? No. She shook her head. Then she pointed the cat's cradle strung between my fingers. Oh, you mean this? Why are we not getting Kanan's face during this? What is the... This game at weird points hides the face. Well, at many points throughout the game has intentionally hidden the face of certain characters. Like, obviously, the obvious ones, like Maria in the Tama costume. But then, like, fucking whatever her face is, the name of Kano's soon-to-be wife, like, she was being hidden. There's this moment when we've already seen Kanan. Strange. Just a observation. I'm going very slow through the story here. I just have a lot of observations I'm pointing out. And I know that we're reaching an end to this game at some point soon. And I'm trying to, like, I feel like I'm unintentionally, like, trying to prolong the game for myself. Because I'm going to be sad when this is over, for sure. This was a journey. So I took her by the hand and started to teach her the cat's cradle. Hey, do you mind if I ask you something? I said after a while. What's that? That friend you mentioned earlier. What was he like? Kanan's fingers went still. It's better if you don't ask. If I tell you, you won't want to come here anymore. That's not true, I insisted. Even though I'm a terrorist, she replied curtly. One who uses fear and violence to attain political objectives. The term has its origins in the Reign of Terror in 18th century France, known in French as Le Terreur. I swallowed a sudden lump in my throat, unable to find words. We fight for righteousness, but you people call us terrorists. In the religious sense, the state of being virtuous, free of sin... I almost said free of shit. Free of sin, and observant of the proper rules of moral conduct. Not the same as being in the right, though many people equate the two. Am I wrong? She cast a quick look at my face. But I mean, you protected me. My voice wavered as I replied. All I did was take down some thugs. I just didn't want them around. What could I say to that? I just stammered. Nah, I'm just messing with you. Huh? Kanan flashed me another slight, condescending grin. I was just joking. Don't worry about it. But I didn't get the sense that everything she'd said was a joke. Even if calling herself a terrorist was an exaggeration, the world Kanan lived in was unquestionably a dangerous one. I could tell that from the cold look in her eyes, a look you'd never expect from an ordinary teenage girl. Just what sort of hardships had she endured to acquire that deadly stare? Having lived all my life in peaceful Japan, I could scarcely imagine. Just a bottle of olive oil near the window. Kanan tried and failed several times to get the cat's cradle right, but she didn't give up. She worked fastidiously by herself, fingers continuing to shift awkwardly about. Okay, here we go. She hooked the string around her fingers and spread her palms. But the string shape just collapsed into a jumbled mess. Confound it. Okay, one more time. You can make You can make this into a game with two people, you know. I plucked the string from Kanan's hands. Also, there's like a vibe going on between these two, right? Like, that's not me just... Whatever, I'll continue. You pass the string back and forth. Why don't we try that? It's more fun than doing it by yourself. I wrap the string around my fingertips. What do you say? Want to give it a go? Kanan looked dubious. The intricately intertwined strings were like the world, in a way. Holy shit! It's gonna make some analogy that or maybe it's not intentionally. Maybe I'm just reading this one sentence. But fucking intertwined, and it's gonna make a parallel to how this game, all the stories are intertwined, because it's the Shibuya Scramble. So much so that when I first started the series, and then when I put them into the playlist and shit on YouTube, I think I titled the series something something intertwined something something. It's just funny. Intertwined strings are like the world in a way. What had started as a single thread was now something that couldn't be undone just by pulling on it. Yeah, it's definitely referencing what the game is. I held my hands out, twirling the string around my fingers. Kanan took the pattern from me and spread her palms apart. She made a perfect bridge between her hands. The shy grin that came to her face made her finally look like a normal girl. I followed suit with a childish little laugh of my own. Oh yeah, I'm being held at gunpoint. I remember. And, as if in a blaze of sunshine, the fog that's been hanging over my mind finishes receding. I remember everything. My name is Maria Asawa. My sister is Hitomi Asawa. And Kanan? She's a dear friend who I met in a far-off land. She helped me once, and now it's my turn to help her. I close my eyes as I reflect upon these precious memories, all the dearer for having been lost. Now when I try to picture Kanan, I can do so clearly. It's just as I thought before. My memories are what makes me who I am, and I would never choose to forget them. I feel almost as if time had stopped for me while my history was gone, and now it started moving again. I'm finally back to being me. Oh, video shit! FNV! Then the van blows up. Boom! And I have to go. I have to go back there one more time. And of her story, and, huh? The fuck do you mean, end? The fuck you mean that? No, 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 no. 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 No, game. No. Don't accept. Don't accept. I reject everything that you're doing here. No. She's still at gunpoint. What do you mean, end? No, no, no. Alright, we got Achi. We've got Achi still. It's Aya. Fuck is this game gonna... If the game utterly shits the bed at the end just by some weird end thing where it's just like, oh, we're not really ending with any kind of ending. We're just gonna be like, ah, yep, Maria, she remembers who she is. Have fun with that. I'm gonna be pissed. Archie could hear ambulance and police sirens wailing on the main road. He looked down at Hitomi, slumped on a park bench beside him. "You're sure you're not hurt?" he asked quietly, offering her a bottle of water. "I'm okay." Hitomi took a sip from the bottle. "Thanks. I think I've managed to calm down some." Some of the color had finally returned to her face. "So, Archie began hesitantly. "Inside that minivan." Maria wasn't in there. There was relief in her voice, but also a note of pathos. Pathos. Fuck it. Pathos. I got a look in, though. I gotta look in through the windshield. I'm just fucking stunned by this Maria thing. I can't even fucking read. It can't be the end. It's gotta be a fake out. It's gotta be a fake out. There was a man laid out in the back seat, but nobody else. The dark cloud lifted from Achi's face. "So it wasn't your sister?" "No, I didn't see his face. Just that he was wearing a business suit." Achi felt the tension ebbing from his body. "That's good then. That it wasn't her. I'd been worried." It was a shame about the poor devil who had been killed, though. Who was it, and why had he been there? "So, I guess now we're out of leads," Hitomi murmured. She hung her head. "We could try the surveillance center again for now," Achi said. "It will probably give us better odds of finding your sister than just walking around." "I guess you're right. Shall we then?" Hold on." Achi had a sudden flash of inspiration. "My house is a lot closer from here. Maybe I should ask my dad if we can check the cameras from home." Uh-oh. Uh-oh. See, this is where shit's gonna hit the fan, because he's gonna bring Hitomi here, who looks like Maria, but is Hitomi, who's got the Bombay blood, and apparently Daisuke knows that she's got the blood, and he's gonna bring her to him. And see, I think this is where we're gonna get the thing. This is where we get a father and son fight. Achi's gonna have to kill his dad. "You can do that? We have the same system at our house. I'm sure my dad will let us use them." "Oh god. Oh no." The two got up and headed for Endo Electronics. This is gonna be bad. Achi decided to let his father know they were coming. He turned on his phone as they walked along. He'd had it off for a while. Did he meet Hitomi at the beginning? At what point? Because Hitomi was originally, at the beginning, she was just being used as bait to hold the Itachi case. Was that him? I remember that dialogue. Like, oh, is that... But was that Achi's dad? No, that was the fucking... That was like the like a noodle shop owner or whatever when they were first trying to find the blue van, right? Is that what you're talking about? The lady who was like unreliable restaurant lady? Front manager of the noodle or Japanese food place? Yeah. I almost forgot. But I forgot about... That was so long ago. That felt like forever ago. I barely remember that moment. But yeah, I do remember, but that was not Daisuke. Yeah. This old memory's got some ability here. He'd had it off for a while, so first he checked his voicemail. There's one message. Wondering who might have called, he played it back. It's Daisuke. He's like, I gotta kill Hitomi. Is this Achiendo's personal cell phone? This is Dr. Saiki from Shibuya Central Hospital. Uh-oh. Okay. Saikai? I'm trying, guys. Don't knock me for trying. A heart specialist and Suzune's attending physician, a preeminent surgeon who has successfully performed the Batista procedure. Batista procedure, wherein the left ventricle is reconstructed after a third of it has been removed. Achi's expression stiffened. He pressed the phone closer to his ear. There's been a sudden change in Suzune's condition. I tried calling your home as well, but got no answer. Achi felt the edges of his vision growing dim. As her brother, it'd be good if you can come to the hospital as soon as possible. It's... Achi? Hitomi's voice was full of concern. Sorry, I just gotta make a call here. Fingers trembling, Achi dialed his house. The phone rang several times before switching over to the answering machine. Damn it, where the hell are you, Dad? What's wrong? Hitomi asked. It's Suzune. It sounds like things have gotten pretty bad. Well, then we need to get to the hospital right away, Hitomi said. She sounded as anxious as Achi was. We can't go yet. Achi shook his head quietly. First, we have to save your sister. Hitomi bristled angrily at that. Concerned face. What are you talking about? She grabbed Achi by the arm and shook him. Right now, you need to be thinking about your sister. I can't. I made a promise to Suzune. A promise to help people and see things through to the end when something important is on the line. He struggled to get the words out. If I break that promise, then I really am no good to her. But Hitomi didn't look like she was going to back down. Oi! Get back here! A threatening shout rung out from nearby. Achi looked around, startled, and saw a boy about high school age bolting out from behind a building on a side street. Several slightly older young men were hot on his heels. Achi knew their faces all too well. They were all members of SOS. They caught their quarry just before he could make it out into the main road. Gotcha, newbie. So the kid they were after must have been a member too. Let me go. Oh, we'll let you go, all right. After you pay up. One of the young men snatched the boy by the collar and shoved him against the wall of the nearby building. Ow! The boy's face scrunched up. What are you talking about? Playing dumb, huh? Interjected one of the onlookers. We told you the members all have to pay monthly dues, yeah? The privilege of getting to call yourself SOS didn't come free after all. Don't come free after all. I can read. I am literate. Achi felt his blood boil. SOS was trying to pull a shakedown. Oh, fucking 428, Shibuya Shakedown. What I kept mistakenly call the game. It's here. On this new kid, under the guise of calling it dues. Slang for extortion, a full-fledged crime. Naturally, the direct shakedown, give me all your money, punk, is quite unpleasant, but more roundabout ways of being shaken down can still leave a bad taste in one's mouth. Someone who was surrounded on the street by 8 people in pompadours who said, begging your pardon, but could you please hand over your money, might suffer no physical harm, but would still be the victim of a shakedown. The damn pompadours. It would have been unthinkable for them to do something like this back when Achi was running the show. Achi's gonna have to kick some ass. Hey, He barked. Let the kid go. He marched toward the group. Say what now? They turned to look, their faces immediately going pale. Oh, hey, Achi. Let him go. I love how Achi still carries, like, this, reputation with the rest of the gang, even though he left some time ago. I like that dynamic. Achi focused his glare on the fellow holding the kid until he released his grip. You guys always go around doing stuff like this? None of the gang members answered. They merely turned their gazes glumly to the ground. Hey! Achi turned to the young boy. Since when have you been doing this? But of course, he realized there was no way the newbie would be able to tell him. Never mind. You can go. Achi gestured toward the main road. The boy was quick to run off. Achi waited until the boy was gone before turning back to the others. Does Susumu know you're going around collecting dues like this? He asked. Man, we don't gotta tell you that, one of them muttered. Not since you deserted. What'd you just say? Achi leaned in close, getting right in the guy's face. He was met with a defiant sneer. This ain't the old SOS anymore. Not the old SOS. Achi thought back to the other gang member he'd run into earlier, with the malicious gleam in his eyes. That guy. Pretty sure he said his name was Kiryu. Fucking Kiryu from Yakuza. Back when Achi had been with SOS, he'd never have let a guy like that get away with acting all high and mighty. Suddenly, Achi heard a voice from behind him. Well, well, if it ain't our legendary founder. Smack. An instant later, he took a hard blow to the side of the head. I was just out looking for some small fry. It looks like I landed me a big one. Achi's head swam, his vision fading in and out. Before he had a chance to recover, something smashed into his knee. Jesus! He lay crumpled on the ground, unable to retaliate as kicks and punches rained down on him. Even after Achi could no longer move, the beating didn't stop. His ruptured eardrums could barely make out the sound of Hitomi screaming. I think I got a bad ending. Hitomi, run! With his final plea silenced before it reached his lips, Achi felt his consciousness battered away. Yeah, we're getting a lot of, like, main characters just beaten. Beaten, blown up by blue minivans. Man, I really wish Minorikawa could, like, kick some ass. Kiryu turned up out of nowhere and gave Achi a beatdown with a piece of timber. But just before he attacked Achi, Kiryu had run into someone else. That person said something that changed what Kiryu did. The individual in question needs to say something different to ensure Kiryu doesn't go to Dokenzaka while Achi and Tomi are there. Okay, so Minorikawa needs to change what he says, but... Wait, I'm going too far back. Where's... The only thing I can think of is, I mean, I haven't chosen A. Hey, Minorikawa said. This seems like it's asking for some trouble. Is it fun, hitting people with that thing? The corner of the punk's mouth curled up. Aw yeah, real fun. Only a dumbass beats people with their bare hands. You just wind up hurting your fists. If you're gonna enjoy some violence, you gotta have yourself a weapon. Aha, I see. In that case, maybe give it a rest with that stick, yeah? Huh? What for? The punk scowled in irritation. Don't get me wrong, Minorikawa said. I'm just saying, there have to be better weapons than that. Something that could take a man down in a single blow. The kid stopped to consider Minorikawa's words for a moment. I getcha. Yeah, you might be right about that. And I think I have just the thing. May as well go with my usual. He tossed away the piece of wood on the side of the road. Don't you go anywhere till I get back. Got it? Yeah, sure thing. Minorikawa watched as the punk headed back the way he'd come. Man, he murmured, what a dumbass. Looking around, he spotted a taxi parked close by. It was Kimizuka! Ah, shit, I gotta keep playing it. Do you need a ride, sir? Kimizuka asked, all politeness as he opened the back door. It's so strange that the mechanic of this game is like, yeah, Achi, he's gonna get beaten up with a stick. Go to this one little moment where Minorikawa told him to drop the stick, and then you're fine. It's very interesting. To get what ends up being the canonical story. If you're heading to that publishing office again, I can get you there in 10 minutes. Kimizuka's driving was as smooth as always. He wove his way skillfully through a series of back streets. There was some big explosion earlier, he explained. The main roads are all gridlocked. Yeah, Minorikawa muttered. I was there when it happened. Oh wow, really? I'm glad to see you're not hurt then. Still, what a terrible thing, that minivan. I hear someone was inside when it exploded. I'm not sure if you were aware. Yeah, I'm aware. Oh, nothing gets past a reporter like you, I see. Kimizuka flashed Minorikawa an approving smile through the rearview mirror. How much have you heard then? Rumor has it that the person who died was a middle-aged man. Oh, huh. We taxi drivers tend to hear quite a bit ourselves. Kimizuka chuckled, but Minorikawa just cast his eyes down forlornly. Now, are we good? Nope. You look tired, sir. Yeah, I guess so. His reply was barely audible. Suddenly, someone rushed out into the street right in front of the cab. Ah, shit! Fuck! That's why it wouldn't let us go. It's Hachi. Look out! Well, rip Hachi. There was a heavy thunk as the taxi crashed into the pedestrian. Fucked up that taxi windshield so good. Screeching to a halt, Kimizuka and Minorikawa jumped out of the vehicle to find a young man splayed out on the street. Jesus. Dude, look at that patch. Hey, the driver called. You alright? No, he's not alright. The fallen pedestrian was practically still a kid, and he wasn't moving. Kimizuka hunkered down and jostled his shoulder, then his expression stiffened in alarm. Minorikawa checked the young man's pulse, but couldn't detect any heartbeat. Oh no, Kimizuka said. This is... And he was so good at being a reliable taxi guy too. This is... Tears began to well up in his eyes. Minorikawa turned to him in surprise. You knew him? I did. Kimizuka cradled the young man in his arms. I'm sorry, but you'll have to find yourself another taxi, he said. I'm going to turn myself in to the police. Looking down at the boy's unmoving form, Minorikawa felt a pang of guilt. No, he said. I'm the one who's been asking you to drive around so recklessly all day. This is on me too. But I'll go with you to the cops. The two men decided to head to the station together to surrender themselves. There probably wouldn't be time to work on writing articles while they were being interrogated, but that was just how it had to be. This was the right thing to do. Minorikawa just had to keep telling himself that, knowing that it was the truth. How the fuck does Kimizuka know Achi? What thread is this? Surrendered to the police. Honorikawa's day ended in disaster when the taxi he was riding in hit a young man, Achi, who ran out into the street. But why did the kid rush out into the intersection like that? The answer lies in Achi's story. You don't say. You don't say. Alright, well, we're going back. I'm gonna get a drink of water real quick. Give me a minute or two, and I'll be right back. Yeah, no worries, Dis. Have a good dinner. An enjoyable dinner. So does that ruin Taxi Guy for you? That he just ran over Achi? And turned himself in? Please, please, please write Shibuya fanfiction and give me the Tumblr link. Alright, so I assume we're gonna fight him without the stick. Oi, get back here! A threatening shout rung out from nearby. We get to reread this. Achi looked around, startled, and saw a boy about high school age bolting out from behind a building on the side street. It's not Taxi Man's fault. Several slightly older young men were hot on his heels. Achi knew their faces all too well. They were all members of SOS. They caught their quarry just before he could make it out onto the main road. Gotcha, newbie. So the kid they were after must have been a member too. Let me go. Oh, we'll let you go, alright. After you pay up. One of the young men snatched the boy by the collar and shoved him against the wall of a nearby building. The guy grabbing the collar looks familiar for some reason. Ow! The boy's face scrunched up. What are you talking about? Playing dumb, huh? Interjected one of the onlookers. We told you that members have to pay all have to pay monthly dues, yeah? The privilege of getting to call... I think I messed up privilege last time too. The privilege of getting to call yourself SOS don't come free after all. Achi felt his blood boil. SOS was trying to pull a shakedown on this new kid under the guise of calling it dues. It would have been unthinkable for them to do something like this back when Achi was running the show. Hey, he barked, let the kid go. He marched toward the group. Say what now? They turned to look, their faces immediately going pale. Oh, hey Achi. Let him go. Achi focused his glare on the fellow holding the kid until he released his grip. You guys always go around doing stuff like this? Oh, question. You guys always go around doing stuff like this? None of the gang members answered. They merely turned their gazes glumly to the ground. Hey! Achi turned to the younger boy. Since when have you been doing this? But of course, he realized there was no way the newbie would be able to tell him. Period. Never mind. You can go. Achi gestured toward the main road. The boy was quick to run off. Achi waited until the boy was gone before turning back to the others. Does Susumu know you're going around collecting dues like this? He asked. Man, we don't gotta tell you that, one of them muttered. Not since you deserted. What'd you just say? Achi leaned in close, getting right in the guy's face. He was met with a defiant sneer. This ain't the old SOS anymore. Daddy-o. Not the old SOS. Archie thought back to the other gang member he'd run into earlier, with the malicious gleam in his eyes. That guy. Pretty sure he said his name was Kiryu. Back when Archie had been with SOS, he'd never let a guy like that get away with acting all high and mighty. Now, it seemed like all these young fellows were ready to follow suit, eager to take him down a peg. You're old news, pal. Ain't your business to tell us how to do things. Archie felt a confusing flood of anger and sadness that he couldn't quite control. I'm not messing around here, you guys. He grabbed the nearest punk by the collar and hefted him up in the air. And beat the shit out of him, please. Then someone shouted from behind him. Hey, what are you doing? Archie put the guy down and turned around to see Susumu standing there. Mind telling me just what's going on here, Archie? Susumu flashed his underlings a sharp glare. They immediately took to their heels. No, see, that's when we get run over by a taxi. This is, I run, I chase them, I get hit by a taxi, man. Easy choice. Easy choice. Just what the hell was going on with SOS? Archie needed to talk to Susumu. I want, like, ex-leader and current leader just fight. I asked what was going on here. There was a threatening note in Susumu's voice. That's what I want to know. What the hell's happened to SOS, man? Susumu's face twisted with displeasure. You're an outsider now. That's none of your business. I don't give a damn if it's my business or not. When I left you in charge of SOS, You shut your damn mouth, Susumu roared. Yeah, that's right. You left me in charge. So don't you dare give me any lip now about how to run things. How I run things. His sudden ferocity left Archie at a loss for words. You're not the one busting your ass out here. I am. Susumu stalked toward Archie, his face red with emotion. I've had to work so hard to keep things going with you. Let me retry. I've had to work so hard to keep things going with you gone. Do you have any idea what it's been like? Do you know what I've had to put myself through to keep SOS together? I can't help but feel like SOS is like a name for like a shitty, like, like a boy band. There was nothing Archie could say to that. He just kept his mouth shut and let Susumu talk. You were gone. I thought maybe I could do things like you did. All at once, Susumu seemed to deflate a little. He hung his head, hiding his face. And if I couldn't be like you, then... Hey man, I get it, and I'm sorry. But Susumu kept his face averted. Please, he muttered. Stay out of our business. Hitomi's just like, oh, this is awkward. Then he turned on his heel and headed off without looking back. Archie watched him leave, feeling a painful sting. That tense jazz song thing that was playing on loop there was also a choice. Archie, Hitomi asked after Susumu was gone, are you sure you're okay leaving things like this? Archie shrugged heavily. Susumu said he's doing what he can. It's not my place to butt in. He turned his back on Hitomi. He still needed a moment. Shed a couple tears. Archie, you're being unreasonable. About what? He felt like he'd been wounded to his very core. And he wasn't sure what to do about it. You want to help people who are in trouble, right? Hitomi asked quietly. Yeah, I guess. Archie's voice was glum. Well, I'm in a whole lot of trouble right now. Yeah, I know that. No, Archie, you don't. Hitomi's tone was clipped and firm. Please, go to your sister. What are you talking about? That doesn't matter now? Yes, it does. Hitomi's shout stopped him in his tracks. Archie, right now, the thing I'm having the most trouble with is that you won't go to the hospital. Don't you get it? How can I possibly be happy with you helping me if you have to sacrifice your own sister to do it? Archie couldn't answer that, and he knew it. Please, go to the hospital. I'm asking you to, and I'm definitely someone in trouble, so it doesn't count as breaking your promise, right? I appreciate that, Archie said softly. Fuck. Dude, A, just seems like you're just being an unneeded prick, honestly. Like, she's making a point. You just gotta fucking go. So yeah, how about we drop by the hospital for a bit? The emotions Archie had been trying to hide now came welling to the surface. We'll go see Suzune, and after that, we can go look for your sister. Would that be okay with you? That would be more than okay with me. And at long last, Hitomi smiled at him. Back in sync with each other, Archie and Hitomi headed to the hospital. Black screen. Hospital. Shibuya Central Hospital is one of the foremost general hospitals in Japan, outfitted with top-notch medical facilities and staffed by highly skilled personnel. Individuals like Suzune, with rare blood types, were sent to the hospital from far and wide because of its cutting-edge hematology center. It's a hospital division that deals with blood. Its goal is to provide high-end care to patients with blood disorders, including blood screening, treatments, transfusions, the management and supply of blood products, and other related services. Archie asked Hitomi to stay in the waiting area while he headed back. No, I just added the word back there for no reason. While he headed on into the hospital proper. From the visitor's entrance, he passed by the nurse's station, then entered the cardiovascular medicine section and walked along a row of examination rooms. The cardiovascular system includes the heart, as well as various blood vessels that circulate blood throughout the body. Cardiovascular medicine deals with heart and blood issues such as angina, heart attacks, heart failure, irregular pulse, and the like. He walked by the first room as quietly as possible, catching sight of a mother and daughter sitting together in chairs in the hallway. The mother was crying softly. Oh, Takuya. He's only 15, she murmured under her breath. The name Takuya didn't ring a bell. It was the only 15 that got a reaction out of Archie. Only 15. He couldn't imagine anything good coming after that. To be cruelly taken away when one was still so young. Archie could feel the woman's pain as deeply as if it were his own. He's got that eco shirt, but the fucking plastic bottle guy isn't in there. When did they make that switch? Wasn't there the dude character in that the whole time? Am I going crazy? When he reached Suzune's room, Dr. Saike, the attending physician, explained her condition. The doctor did his best to keep his explanation simple. Yeah, the little bottle guy made the shirt good. Now it just looks like you're just a recycling guy, which is fine. You're just an eco-friendly guy. It's just lost the charm. The doctor did his best to keep his explanation simple, but Archie was too worked up and too dumb to process much of what he said. Yeah. So, either... I mean, in story-wise, it's the same day. I don't think it changed his shirt, so it's just probably... It's either a mistake, like a, a consistency mistake type thing, or... Like, I couldn't tell earlier, like, maybe it was the way it's, like, folded, like, on his body. Maybe it's not showing well, but it doesn't look like it's the case. He did manage to wrap his head around a few things. What are those few things Archie understood? At around 10 o'clock that morning, Suzune had a seizure. For a while, it had been touch and go, but finally her condition had stabilized. However, since she hadn't regained consciousness yet, she wasn't allowed any visitors. That was the gist, as far as Achi could tell. Why does he look like he's kind of reclined? He's like, well, those are the facts. She's gonna fucking die. Whatever. What's your father doing today? He still hasn't come by, Dr. Saike said. What is my father doing? He's currently kidnapping someone for their organs. Achi wasn't sure what to tell him. It was certainly odd. There was no way his father wouldn't have rushed right to the hospital if he'd heard Suzune had taken a turn for the worse. I'll give you a call once she's woken up. For now, you can head on home for the day. Alright. Please, keep a close eye on her, Doctor. Somberly, Achi went to find Hitomi in the waiting area. Outpatient reception had closed for the day, leaving the hospital quiet. His footsteps echoed softly in the corridors. Then as he walked along, a peculiar sound drew his attention. It had come from over by the base of a nearby stairwell. Achi took a peek around the corner. What the fuck? The sight that greeted him nearly made him gasp aloud. In the dim light up ahead, he saw Kanan. She had some fucking white guy pressed against the wall, a knife to his throat. Achi quickly yanked his head back out of view. Could it be? Was this the man Kanan said she was after? Achi had to resist the urge to go charging out there. Some amateur heading in, half-cocked, might well be more of a liability to Kanan than any sort of help. He heard her mutter something to the man in English. We know nothing about Alfred's background, nationality, sex, age. Achi could just barely make out the words, but since it was all in English, he had no idea what they meant. But we do know that whoever they are, they have connections to Langley. Slang for the U.S. Central Intelligence Agency, CIA. Langley, Virginia, yep. Headquartered in Langley, Virginia. The only reason I remember Langley, Virginia is back in my high school days, when I was taking a TV production, like intro TV pro in freshman year. And we had to do a scene recreation. And the kids whose group I was in was really set on doing an action scene from one of those Bourne movies. Bourne Legacy, Bourne Supremacy, something. And the scene he chose, and we had to go to some, like, on a weekend we went to some office setting. And part of his, I don't know if it was his, I didn't act in it. And I don't know if it's his or another kid's, but part of the script was, it was in the CIA scene in Langley, Virginia. It was a boring-ass story. I apologize. Similar to referring to the Japanese government as Nagatacho. Sure, the CIA has other nicknames, including the company, the agency, the second government, the invisible government, and the coup makers. Achi peeked out again, very cautiously, in time to see the man raise an eyebrow at Kanan's words. It's fucking Stanley, right? Interesting. That doesn't mean you need to threaten me at knife point, though. He flashed her a thin smile. It does, actually, because I happen to know that you're a CIA agent. Technically known as officers, the CIA refers to its own spies as agents. Someone in charge of directing agents is called a case officer. Case officers are stationed at embassies across the world in the public guise of diplomats, soldiers, and the like. Huh? No sooner were Kanan's words out than the man grabbed her arm and tried to hurl her against the wall. Just before her head connected, though, she jackknifed her upper body forward. then planted both feet against the wall and kicked off with tremendous force. She used her momentum to launch herself forward, regaining her position with her knife against the man's throat. But during his brief opening, the man had managed to draw a gun from inside his jacket. Now the barrel was pressed right against Kanan's heart. Well, shit. Archie, do something! Archie swallowed the lump in his throat. How about we call a truce? Kanan said softly. She withdrew her knife. Yeah, sounds like you and me are both after the same thing. The man likewise lowered his gun. With a faint smile, Kanan turned her back on him and vanished down the adjacent stairwell. Archie had no idea what just happened. He's just like, what? They stopped fighting though, so this guy probably wasn't Kanan's mastermind after all. If only Archie spoke a little English, he might have been able to follow their conversation. He found himself wishing he'd taken school more seriously. When he looked again, he saw that the man too had disappeared. Hitomi stood up from her chair as Archie hurried into the waiting area. How's Suzune? She asked. For now, she's not in any immediate danger, they said. That's good to hear. But more importantly, Kanan was here just now. What? Why? I'm not sure. I'm not smart enough to figure that out. Archie slumped his shoulders. I'm just too dumb. Huh? What? I'm not quite sure what you mean. Exactly. I couldn't understand anything she was saying. Hell, you couldn't even figure out how to get through to Hitomi. May I have a moment? A voice spoke unexpectedly from behind Archie. Oh shit, fuck, Stanley! His breath caught in his throat as he turned around. Standing there was the man Kanan had been struggling with. What's up? Archie asked. He tried to sound as nonchalant as possible. Probably not great. But the man wasn't looking at Archie. You're Hitomi Asawa, is that right? Yes? Hey, Archie snapped. Keep your distance. He stepped protectively in front of Hitomi. This guy, he's not what he looks like. Archie clenched his fists and adopted a defensive posture. Oh yeah, fight Stanley, let's go. Huh? Hitomi seemed panicked. Archie said, I don't know who he is, but he's not a friend. The man calmly reached into his jacket pocket. Fearing he might be about to draw his gun, Archie braced for action. My name is Jack Stanley. Jack Stanley. Ambassador signature, John Hancock, there at the bottom. Look at the expiration date, from May 25th, 2007 to December 31st, 2009. So at the point when this game was originally released, it was like exact, they were making it like exact current time. Just a little interesting fact. I'm a security assistance officer with the U.S. Embassy. Archie held back his punch as the man held out his ID card. Oh, it's a picture. Great. Like I can't see the picture already. Diplomats are issued diplomatic passports and diplomatic ID cards by their home governments. Japan's Ministry of Foreign Affairs also issues its own form of diplomatic identification card. The CIA provides such identification to its operatives working overseas to help maintain their false identities. Embassy? What does someone from the U.S. Embassy want with me? Tommy asked timidly. You're being targeted by a dangerous criminal. I'm here to take you into protective custody. Custody? Archie's temper flared. Buzz off, pal. We're busy here. Busy searching for Maria Asawa? Stanley asked. Archie and Hitomi exchanged glances. I know the full details of the trouble you currently find yourselves in. Well, alright then, Archie said. Then you should know we don't have time to get taken into custody. I'm afraid you don't understand the situation we're dealing with. We're up against a dangerous international criminal here. Taking reckless action is only going to put her life in danger. Don't be a fool. This is no time to play the knight in shining armor. Hey! Archie was infuriated, but he couldn't think of a comeback. After all, it was true that Hitomi had run into danger time and again while she was with him. But I'm already safe, Hitomi insisted. I'm only here right now because Archie has been protecting me. She eyed Stanley sharply. I've got Archie with me. I don't need your protection. Archie felt a surge of pride that practically brought tears to his eyes. Oh my god. If Hitomi would have let him, he'd have given her an enormous hug. Archie. Only the most important things for Archie. Stanley grimaced in resignation. Alright. In that case, how about I join your search for Maria? I can help keep you safe that way instead. I don't know. Hitomi grabbed hold of Archie's sleeve. The Stanley fellow didn't have the most trustworthy face, Archie thought. But he realized that he might be biased after being chased around by foreigners all day. After all, if this guy really were after Hitomi, he'd probably have already made a show of force. Not only did he have a gun on him, he was sufficiently skilled in martial arts to hold his own against Kanan. He'd have no trouble taking down a single unarmed opponent like Archie. Hitomi, I get the impression the Stanley guy's not our enemy right now. Hitomi gave a slight nod. Alright. I trust your judgment on this, Archie. Now then, what's the plan from here? Stanley asked. Not wandering aimlessly around town, I hope. There was a trace of snidiness in his voice. You can just keep your mouth shut, Archie replied. We can wander around town all day if we feel like it. Two can play this snarky game, he thought to himself. Poor Hitomi looked distressed. Very well, if that's what you want, I can stay quiet. But first, I need to inform the police that I have Mrs. Saul in my custody. Wait, hold on, Hitomi blurted. That isn't a good idea. Stanley inclined his head. Why is that? Well, since you already seem to know most of the story, Hitomi quickly explained the kidnapper's threat and described the search for the minivan. Stanley remained quiet, listening with obvious interest. I see, he said when she'd finished. Still, when that minivan exploded, didn't that make your promise to the kidnappers a moot point? Hitomi nodded. I suppose it did, didn't it? Stanley pursed his lips, confused. Let me ask just one more question. Do either of you know a detective by the name of Tatano? No. We haven't run into any detectives. Yeah, exactly. The only folks we seem to run into are guys who are after Hitomi. I see. A grim expression crossed Stanley's face. Right. I'm going to get in touch with the investigation task force. I'll have them contact your parents for you. Would you mind speaking with them so they can confirm it's really you? Sure. All right, Hitomi said. Stanley got on his wireless and described their current circumstances to the police. Mr. Endo, hold on. Suddenly, Dr. Saiki appeared, running down the hallway. There's something I forgot to tell you regarding your father. Oh? Archie got a sinking feeling. I got a call from him yesterday afternoon, and he asked me something rather odd. See? Here we go. This game's got us. It's gonna go into it. Well, I guess, in fairness, this still might not explain how he knows Hitomi has the blood, but we're getting close. Preparation for a transplant? I'm sorry, I'm not entirely sure I understand what you're asking. Saiki clutched the receiver. Daisuke Endo's brooding tone was more than a little disturbing. No, it's alright, Endo said. This is all just difficult to talk about, Doctor. Please, forget I said anything. There's just one important thing I wanted to let you know. Yes? There's going to be a brain-dead woman coming your way at probably around 9 o'clock this evening, I expect. Her blood type is Bombay. Bombay was the extremely rare blood type that Endo's daughter, Suzune, possessed. Any transplant donor for Suzune would also need to have the Bombay blood type. How does he know, though? Since she has the same blood type as Suzune, the transplant itself isn't an issue, Endo continued. The only thing I'm concerned about is whether the procedure can be done within the limited time window. And I hate to trouble you, but I just called because I think it would be best to prepare for surgery as soon as possible. Like, if you got that call as a doctor, you'd be like, what the fuck? Hell no. Go away. The more Saiki heard, the more disturbed he grew. It felt like he was listening this man go on about some strange delusion. Doctor, please, just take good care of Suzune. With that, Endo hung up. Achi kept quiet as he listened to Dr. Saiki tell his story. Of course, that was yesterday, and I still haven't heard anything about a brain-dead girl turning up. After all, only God would know when someone would wind up in a state of brain death. But still, there was just something very strange about what your father said. It was as if he was certain that someone was going to wind up brain dead, or... Just stop right there, Hachi exclaimed. Stanley and Hitomi turned in surprise. They were still in the middle of their wireless call to the police. Don't get me wrong, the doctor said hastily. I'm not trying to imply that your father would hurt anyone. What I'm worried about is your father's mental state in... No! Achi interrupted him again. That's not it. His own words from earlier spun within his head. So long as we have these cameras, this guy has nowhere to run. Security cameras. I'm sure this is the place. The man with the cane. He'd been on the phone with someone. That didn't mean anything. It was just a coincidence. Oh yeah, fuck. That's right. Yeah, it's a small thing. But he was on the phone, the cane guy, on the phone with Endo. Achi's dad, Mr. Endo. And the reason the cane guy kept showing up in the right spots was because he could see where Achi was going. Which is creepy, because his own dad is directing the guy with the cane to follow and threaten Hitomi and his own son. Jesus. Which is weird, because you're putting your own son into potential danger because you're really just trying to save your own daughter. It was just a coincidence. It couldn't be true. Achi searched desperately for some other explanation. That was it. Anyone from the downtown committee could have used the camera monitoring room. The fucking receptionist, man. Yeah, no one's been by to check today. Nothing wrong with a little nap, yeah? No dice. No one from downtown had been by the surveillance room today. It couldn't be. It couldn't. Achi began to tremble. Is something the matter? Hitomi asked. Achi, you're pale as a ghost. Achi gazed beseechingly back into her face. With just one simple question, he could clear this whole thing up. One question. Please, tell me I'm overthinking this. He prayed inwardly before asking. Hitomi, would you mind telling me your blood type? Why do you ask? Please, just tell me. I have a sort of weird blood type, Hitomi said. It's called Bombay. The last piece of the puzzle fell into place. There was no longer any room for doubt. Achi found himself facing a sad and painful truth. Why? Why? Did... I'm trying to... Now that you say that, that sounds familiar. I know he had said he went into detail about her... just her medical complications. I don't know if this specific blood thing was talked about. That I don't recall. Yes, he definitely did go with her and go into with Hitomi about what condition his sister was in. But I don't even know if he... Did he even go into the whole, like... Oh, it's difficult because we need to find the same blood type? Yeah. Why? Why? With an anguished scream, Achi punched the wall as hard as he could. But his fist still didn't hurt as much as his heart. I feel like this might be, like... In my whole time of streaming so far that I've been doing it, like... I could see myself, like, a year from now, rewatching myself play through this game. And knowing, however this ends up concluding, if, like, you rewatch it and, like, certain parts stick out more. Or something. But his fist still didn't hurt as much as his heart. Dad. Why? Well, that's a to be continued. Bad ending, to be continued. Oh, Maria's now says keep out. Which it wasn't like before, right? Unless it's saying I jump again, right? Wasn't there another jump? Wasn't the 610 jump back here? No, it's not that. I'm fucking just... Is it in Minorikawa? Where is it? Where am I? What's happening? No, I think I just gotta go into Kano, because I think the jump was back past into Kano's thing, but now clearly Kano's story changed. Also, we got through Achi's thing and we didn't see the dudes not come to collect on the debt. I'm so confused. I'm so confused. I kind of want to finish this, the in-game story hour, before we end tonight. Kano sat down in a chair in the hallway in a bit of a daze. He found himself holding the present Sasayama had gotten for his wife. I have to do something. I just don't know what I'm supposed to do. His restlessness gnawed at him like a rabid animal. Hey, Kano. Yeah, we've been over this. He looked up to see Kuze standing beside him, his expression grave. I have an update on Sasayama, the director began. Kano swallowed the lump in his throat. It seems the knife went in deep enough to do some organ damage. He's in critical condition. I see. Kano bit his lip hard. His handkerchief, red with Sasayama's blood, clung to the wrapping paper of Sasayama's present. Kano peeled it away carefully so as to not tear the paper beneath. "What's that?" asked Kuze. "Sasayama had me hold on to this for him. It's a present for his wife." "Ah, I see. I'm sorry, Director Kuze, for ignoring your orders." Kano's eyes remained fixed on the gift as he spoke. "When you get down to it, none of this would have happened if it weren't for me." Some kind of punishment was surely headed his way for acting alone as he had. He probably wasn't getting out of this one with a simple written apology. But Kuze calmly shook his head. "What happened to Sasayama isn't your fault. Don't blame yourself," he said. "As far as this case goes, I've been giving quite the runaround myself." There was a rare note of vulnerability in Kuze's voice. "The higher-ups have barely let any information trickle my way, but they're still ordering me around non-stop. It's a real pain in the ass." Kuze fell silent, ruminating. Quiet lingered between the two men for several moments before he abruptly spoke again. "Oh, right. I'd like to get your opinion on something." "So, Mamoru Tanaka, who we found in the minivan, you know? What you think? Should we oughta maybe release his name to the media?" Kuze had slipped into his childish register. He was clearly exhausted. Kano was thrown by the question. It was a rare thing for the director to seek an opinion from a mere junior detective. "It feels like there's something not too normal about one of Kenji Asawa's subordinates dying," Kuze went on. Kano had the same thought. This felt too intentional to be a coincidence. "So here's the question. Should I get the media involved and try to rush for a resolution, or should I be more cautious? What would you do?" "About releasing the name?" Kano asked. That wasn't such a simple thing to answer. There were so many factors to consider. A tired smile came to Kuze's face. "Don't think about it so hard. This is just so I have a point of reference. Tell me what your gut says." So before I had picked B. I don't know if I should change it. Fuck it, we'll change. I can't make that decision, sir. Kano knew he was in no state to make a good call on something this serious. The sad truth was that all he could think about was Sasayama and Tatsuno. "I see. Sorry to ask you such an awkward question." "Not at all, sir." Kano dropped his eyes to the blood-splattered gift box again, and Kuze headed back toward the conference room. On the TV, the governor's press conference was still going on. "I've just requested that each of the railroad companies, starting with JR, stop running trains through Shibuya Station until further notice. As far as the roads go, Route 246 has already been closed to traffic." The executive looked pale as he spoke to the crowd. "Is there any possibility of a bioterrorist attack? What about the people who are still in Shibuya?" The reporters unleashed a barrage of questions. The governor's face scrunched up. "As I've already made clear, this is not a complete blockade. There's nothing to stop anyone from leaving Shibuya on foot." Isn't what you're describing de facto martial law?" spat one reporter. "Of course not," the governor snapped. "You should be well aware that martial law is illegal. I couldn't declare it even if I wanted to." "If you wanted to? So this is a bioterrorist issue then?" "I never said anything of the sort." The press conference was devolving into chaos. Kano was unsurprised given the circumstances. Still, everyone was doing their best insofar as they knew how. So why not me? Kano thought. It doesn't matter what I do. Okay, I was curious if where it was going. It doesn't matter what I do. I just want to be doing something. Just letting time tick by without trying to take action was more than he could bear. Kano. Fuck it, let's change it again. Because when I tried to get Rumi, she didn't even answer anyway, so fuck it. Kano thought about Sasayama's wife and decided to get in touch with her. He called Sasayama's home phone, but nobody picked up. Perhaps she'd gone to the hospital? With that in mind, Kano called up Shibuya Central Hospital and asked them to transfer him to Mrs. Sasayama. After a little while, a woman's voice came through the receiver. Yes, this is Mrs. Sasayama? Her voice was thin and reedy. My name's Shinya Kano. I work with your husband on the force. What happened? He didn't know what to say. He couldn't find the words. I wish that I'd been there when he'd gone to make that arrest, he blurted out at last. I should have tried to get there and back him up sooner, if I hadn't been too late. He trailed off, hoping he hadn't said too much. Sosayama's wife answered in her gentle, quavering voice. Thank you so much for your concern. I'm glad that my husband is lucky enough to have a colleague like you. No, I couldn't. I married a detective, Mr. Kano. I've prepared myself for the possibility that something like this might happen. But she certainly didn't sound like she was prepared. Kano felt a biting pain in his chest. Your husband gave me something to hold on to for you. I'd like to give it to you if I can. Oh? Well, certainly, but I'd like to stay here by his side today if possible. Of course. I'll head on over to the hospital myself then. I hope you don't mind if I pay a visit. Oh, of course not. Sorry to trouble you like this. Thank you so much. Kano hung up, then hurried out of the precinct. As he was making his way toward the hospital, Kano spotted a girl sitting on the pedestrian overpass. Yeah, but what? Are you saying you think you know what's in the box? Obviously, it seems like that might be something important, but I can't tell if you mean like you feel like you know what it could be. I'm just weirded out every time Hana appears. There's a couple, like, characters in this game that feel like they're omnipresent. They always just appear just at random times. The fucking loan sharks. For a while, it was the dude with the cane. It's this dude's daughter. You have a sneaking suspicion you know what it is. Am I fucking dense? What in the story? Oh no, now I'm gonna really expose the dumb. It was like a long box too, right? Like it looked like a box you would put like a watch in or something. Think you may be super stupid, maybe? Huh? Nah. What? Kano spotted a girl sitting on the pedestrian overpass. She looked like she was on the verge of tears. I still can't get over the fact that you're like Yanagashita, the fucking bad guy. I swear. It's still a possibility. She looked like she was on the verge of tears. Concerned, he stopped beside her. Are you waiting for someone? He asked. The girl simply bit her lip and said nothing. Are you lost? Do you need a policeman? The relatively low crime rate in Japan, combined with rather high police personnel numbers in Tokyo, mean that officers, particularly beat cops, often have plenty of bandwidth to deal with more minor issues. Again, the girl gave no answer. Where did you come from? Kano tried. Still nothing. He had just decided to go and call for a female officer when the girl hesitatingly spoke at last. Heaven Publishing. After a little coaxing, she told him where that was. Man, I think one of the things that really bummed me out last night with this game, last night, the fucking story about how she was so into her dad starting his own business and everything, and then clearly it went south, and just even as like a young kid, she could see that he fucked up, and the disappointment and hatred then she felt towards him fucking wrecked me. It's fucking bummer shit where I was just like, oh god. Oh god. Like, it's all fictional, obviously, but even stuff like that makes me just... Thinking about stuff like that is just sad. After a little coaxing, she told me where that was. Like, clearly, she got let down so hard even as a young girl, where it turned her so sour. Turned out it was on the way to Shibuya Central Hospital, not too far from where they were now. Why don't I take you there then? Kano said. I'm already headed in that direction anyway. The girl seemed a bit reluctant at first, but eventually she agreed to go with Kano. Oh, maybe Kano here will be able to stop the loan sharks. Kano parted ways with the girl outside the building where Heaven Publishing was located. He noticed that she hesitated to enter first, but eventually vanished inside. Kano's phone rang as he was about to continue on his way. When he peered at the incoming call display, his heart nearly stopped. There was Tatsuno's name. Kano quickly pressed the button to accept the call. Detective Tatsuno? Detective Tatsuno, is that you? There was a whole mountain of things Kano wanted to ask. Just what had he been doing this whole time? Why had he let Al-Karawan go free? And what had happened to Hitomi? But while he was trying to decide what question to pose first, Tatsuno spoke. I've secured Maria Osawa. What? The words came out as a startled gasp. Detective Tatsuno, you have to bring her here ASAP. Right now, she's... Tatsuno cut him off. You need to bring Hitomi Osawa to my location at once. Hitomi Osawa? Yes. I heard over the wireless that the man from the U.S. Embassy had her in custody. Kano hadn't been listening to the most recent wireless traffic. Apparently Stanley had managed to find Hitomi. But what was Tatsuno getting at here? Wait, hold on. What for? I mean, why do you need me to bring Hitomi Osawa to you? There was no reply. Detective Tatsuno, answer me. Please. Tatsuno replied as if he hadn't heard Kano's questions. There's an office building in Nanpai whatever, called South Hill. I'll be waiting for you on the rooftop. If you don't bring her, I'll kill Maria. With that grisly warning, he hung up. Kano's hand went limp. His phone slipped from his grasp and fell to the floor. And then we do this whole thing. So yeah, then it just hits to be continued. Okay. So I changed this. So by changing these couple of decisions, I ended up meeting Hannah, which may or may not be important. Nope, now this says end again. So this said, that says to be continued. Oh, and then Minorikawa's story's here. Fuck, okay. We're doing the thing. We could be seeing the end of the game. I have no... Well, no. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. This is probably... We're still in, like I said, I think one more game hour. Home stretch for the stream tonight. Minorikawa snapped back into the present as a sheaf of pages appeared in front of his face. Here you go, Chiaki said, radiating anxiety. Right. Minorikawa gave her copy a close read-over, then thrust it back out to her. What did you even fix? He asked. Could you please tell me what parts are wrong? She mumbled, hanging her head. What are you talking about? It's just, well, we don't have a lot of time here, so I figure if I just fix the parts that need fixing. Chiaki trailed off into an indistinct mutter. Is that always how you go about fixing your copy? Yes? Then you're never gonna get any better. If someone tells you it's no good, you rewrite the whole thing from scratch. Just making fiddly tweaks here and there is what an amateur does. Chiaki dipped her head even deeper, cringing at the reprimand. Minorikawa let out a tiny sigh. Look, what I just told you, that's what Toyama told me when I was first starting out. There were times he would have me do dozens of rewrites. At first, I thought he was just pushing me around, but after rewriting things over and over, I realized something. There are a whole lot of ways you can write about the same thing, and that's what helped me hone my skills as a writer. Chiaki raised her head back up. Oh, wow. Really? If you can get that, then stick with it. Ride your submission deadline as close as you have to in order to write the best piece you can. Okay, I can do it. I will do it. Finally, Chiaki's face brightened with a smile. That's the spirit. The woman might have talent, but she hadn't realized it yet. She needed to be able to stick to an assignment, even when things got tough. If she didn't have that kind of resolve, she'd never make it as a freelancer. Oh, how touching, Ozu chimed in, applauding. I'm almost moved to tears. They'll make a movie of this for sure. See? We had only been acquainted with that sad sap Toyama. We never knew there was such an upstanding fellow here who was so good at tough love. Murakawa was shot to his feet and pounded his fist on the desk. That's about enough from the peanut gallery. Hold your tongue, Sagawa snarled. His eyes shone with a vicious gleam. We're getting sick of waiting here. Sagawa, you really are a short-tempered guy, aren't you? Ozu clucked disapprovingly at his underling, then slid a sheet of paper onto Minorikawa's desk. Nevertheless, I'm afraid we do require a decision now. If you'll just stamp here, we'll be on our way. Chiaki stared down at the document. Is this a bond of recognizance? Recognizance? Yeah, that's right. That's what you write when transferring a debt. Sagawa puffed himself up proudly. Minorikawa silently looked over the contract. If you don't have a stamp, we'll gladly accept a signature as well, Ozu pointed out. Face it, pal, Sagawa added. If you don't hurry up and sign, we're never going to stop going after Toyama's daughter. Minorikawa snatched up a pen. Mr. Mino, you can't do this! Think about what you're doing, Chiaki shouted. If you go through with this, you'll just wind up like Mr. Toyama. I won't. Yes, you will. Just who the hell do you think I am? I'm Minoru Minorikawa, damn it. I'm gonna land so many scoops it'll make your head spin. I'm gonna pay back this debt and rebuild Heaven Publishing. But why would you take such a risk? Chiaki sobbed. Minorikawa lowered his voice. Because I owe him so much. I can't stand by and let these scumbags kill his daughter. Aha! Before Minorikawa could sign, Sagawa startled him with a sudden exclamation. Oh shit! Looking up, Minorikawa saw what the loan sharks had seen. Little Hana, standing by the door. Get her! On it, boss! Ozu and Sagawa rushed at the girl. Run! Minorikawa shouted. Hana bolted right back out the door, but Ozu managed to snatch her up just as she reached the stairs. Let's be on our way, shall we? A vile grin came to Ozu's cruel face as he headed down the stairwell. This is dark. Stop! Let her go! Minorikawa rushed after them, trying to grab the girl, but Sagawa drove a punch right into his face. Dead. Fucking dead. Ugh. The pain staggered him. Nevertheless, he managed to press on. Get your hands off that girl. Whoa! Leaping strike! Also, this only proves Minorikawa, best character in this game. Shut your damn mouth! Something hard slammed into his chest. His vision went dark. He felt himself slipping from consciousness. Just before he blacked out, he heard Hana's voice. I'm sorry, Uncle Minorikawa. Sorry? No, I'm the one who should apologize. But before his thoughts got any further, Minorikawa passed out. Basically. Wait, no! Don't, no! I thought this was what I... Hana showed up at the office, only to get caught by the moneylenders, and Sagawa drop-kicked Minorikawa into unconsciousness when he tried to save her. Turns out, Hana had been at the police station just before this, trying to decide if she should tell the police her father had been killed in the explosion. Then, someone brought her to Heaven Publishing, which was clearly a mistake. I mean, I get it. Fuck. Fuck, 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 fuck. Another bad ending. Fuck, 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 fuck. Okay. Kano cannot run into... So... See, I thought the whole thing was that... Do I just go back into here and re-choose the thing where I try calling Rumi? Do I go into here and... That doesn't seem right. I mean, with A... We got to the part anyway, so I'm begin to worry about Rumi and decide to give her a call. But then that confuses me because then that gives us this bad ending. There's too many bad endings for fucking Minorikawa here. Might turn out differently if he hears who actually was inside that minivan. So how does then, who tells who's actually in the minivan? What is this? Oh! Fuck! I'm dumb! I am so dumb. I'm so dumb. The dumb is so... The dumb is so prevalent. Dumb. D-U-M dumb. I think releasing the name should be alright. Which goes totally against how I feel actually. Like, I feel like you should not be releasing names, but I get that, alright, we're doing it so that we're fixing the story, but whatever. There's still a lot they didn't know about Tanaka. The fact that the final stop for the ransom relay was Tanaka's condo implied some sort of connection between him and the kidnappers, but they still had no idea what his role in the abduction might have been. They also didn't have any motive for why Tanaka would be helping the kidnappers in the first place. By sharing some of what they did know with the public, they might be able to garner some new leads. You'd release the name? Alright then. Without another word, Kuze headed back toward the conference room. On the TV, the governor's press conference is still going on. I've just requested that each of the railroad companies, starting with JR, stop running trains. This is going to go for a while, right? Oh, no, it's just going to... Okay, cool. I don't have to... Alright. 2 bad endings. We are what should be the final good ending. Norikawa snapped back into the present as a sheaf of pages appeared in front of his dead face. Here you go, Chuck said, radiating anxiety. Right. Norikawa gave her a copy a close read over, then thrust it back out to her. Ah, shit, your paper sucks. Welcome back. I hope your dinner was good. What did you even fix? He asked. Could you please tell me what parts are wrong? She mumbled, hanging her head. What are you talking about? It's just, well, we don't have a lot of time here, so I figure if I just fix the parts that need fixing. Chalky trailed off into an indistinct mutter. Is that always how you go about fixing your copy? Yes. Then you're never going to get any better. Someone tells you it's no good, you rewrite the whole thing from scratch. Oh, that makes a bit more sense. Well, then I hope it is good. I hope it is current and presently good. Just making fiddly tweaks here and there is what an amateur does. Chalky dipped her head even deeper, cringing at the reprimand. Norikawa let out a tiny sigh. You've just made it back for what might be the final little bit of the in-game hour. Look, what I just told you, that's what Toyama told me when I was first starting out. There were times he'd have me do dozens of rewrites. At first, I thought he was just pushing me around. But after rewriting things over and over, I realized something. There are a whole lot of ways you can write about the same thing, and that's what helped me hone my skills as a writer. Chalky raised her head back up. Oh, wow, really? If you can get that, then stick with it. Ride your submission deadline as close as you have to in order to write the best piece you can. Okay, I can do it. I will do it. Finally, Chiaki's face brightened with a smile. That's the spirit. The woman might have talent, but she hadn't realized it yet. She needed to be able to stick to an assignment even when things got tough. If she didn't have that kind of resolve, she'd never make it as a freelancer. Clap, clap, clap. Oh, how touching, Ozu chimed in, applauding. I'm almost moved to tears. They'll make a movie of this for sure. See, we had only been acquainted with that sad sap Toyama. We never knew there was such an upstanding fellow here, who's so good at tough love. Ricard shot to his feet and pounded his fist on the desk. That's about enough from Peanut Gallery. Hold your tongue, Sagawa snarled, his eyes shone with a vicious gleam. We're getting sick of waiting here. Sagawa, you really are a short-tempered guy, aren't you? Ozu clucked disapprovingly at his underling and slid a sheet of paper onto Minorikawa's desk. Nevertheless, I'm afraid we do require a decision now. If you'll just stamp here, we'll be on our way. Chiaki stared down at the document. Is this a bond of Rurura? Yeah, that's right. That's what you write when transferring a debt. Sagawa puffed himself up proudly. Minorikawa silently looked over the contract. If you don't have a stamp, we'll gladly accept a signature as well, Ozu pointed out. Face it, pal, Sagawa added. If you don't hurry up and sign, we're never going to stop going after Toyama's daughter. Minorikawa snatched up a pen. Mr. Mino, you can't do this! Think about what you're doing, Chiaki shouted. If you go through with this, you'll just wind up like Mr. Toyama. I won't. Yes, you will. Just who the hell do you think I am? I'm Minoru Minorikawa, damn it. I'm going to land so many scoops it'll make your head spin. And I'm going to pay back this debt and rebuild Heaven Publishing. But why would you take such a risk? Chiaki sobbed. Minorikawa lowered his voice. Because I owe him so much. I can't stand by and let these scumbags kill his daughter. Scratch, scratch, scratch. Minorikawa readied his pen and signed the document. Alright, Sagawa cheered. Now we're talking. A satisfied grin came to Ozu's face as he reached for the contract. But before he could pick it up, Chiaki snatched it from the desk. I'm not letting you do this. Crumpling the paper, she stuffed it right into her mouth. Hey, Sagawa snapped. The hell are you doing? Tried to force Chiaki's mouth open. Don't you dare, you bitch. To choke her to death. But despite his frantic efforts, Chiaki managed to gulp the water paper down. Sagawa blinked a few times. Oh, you did not just do that. Ozu looked on, dumbstruck. Guess we gotta get a new contract from the office boss. Bring as many as you want, Chiaki declared. I'll just keep eating them. Girl, you some kind of damn goat or something? Sagawa shoved Chiaki up against the desk. Ow, cut it out. That hurts. As she struggled to resist, Chiaki lurched toward the desk, planting one of her hands atop the TV remote control. Oh. Yeah, and there's this part where she turns... That's smart. It's clever. One of her fingers happened to land on the volume up button. The sound from the television set soon hit max volume. We have just learned the identity of the victim killed in the explosion. Shibuya resident and a pharmaceutical executive. Shibuya resident? Minorikawa tilted his head in confusion. Toyama didn't live in Shibuya. Once again, the victim of the explosion was Shibuya resident and pharmaceutical company executive, Mamoru Tanaka. The cause of the explosion remains unknown. The police are still in the presence of following up several potential leads. The site of the incident remains an alarming scene, with relief workers continuing to tend to the wounded. The four people in the editing office spoke in near unison. Huh? Who's Tanaka? Oh shit. We done it. We did done it. Oh no, Maria's not there. Someone broke through the firewall. What the fuck was that? Bananas! What the fuck? Maybe this game is longer than I initially thought. Maybe it's longer than I thought I was seeing. But you're right. There was a lot of weird... There still seems there's a lot of loose ends in that. Did I see some demon nurse woman with fire in her eyes? Is that what I had seen there for a quick second? What does it mean by just end? What? How? What? What? Was that Chiaki? I saw Chiaki, but was the one where it was like all blue tinted Chiaki as well? Don't say that. Don't. Did Maria die here? What is, like, the story significance? She remembers everything, and then her story just ends. Are you saying you really think that he just killed her there? Damn, No, they can't do Maria like that. Damn, even all of these stories start at, like, certain different marks in the timeline. Yeah, it's bizarre. God. Now I'm gonna be fucking at work, sitting at work, again thinking about this dumb game. Okay, well, I don't know. I thought this was the last hour to this game, based on, like, the trophy things I saw. Maybe. Potentially. Still seems like there's maybe a bit, though. But it is Sunday, sadly, which means tomorrow's Monday. Another work week. Friday night should be the start of The Last of Us Part 2. Which apparently, so much discourse I've seen over the last few days on the internet about, apparently very upsetting, very, very violent, which I assumed was going to be the case. So yeah, that's gonna hopefully be, not hopefully, unless I feel like shit come Friday. That will be streamed starting Friday. So, I don't know, will I be able to finish this before that? That'd be, nice. So, maybe 2 or 3, if there's only one more story hour to this, maybe pick 2 or 3, I'll pick 2 or 3 nights throughout the week, Monday through Thursday, and we'll potentially try to finish this game this week. And that'll set us up pretty nice for a new game, The Last of Us Part 2, where we'll all cry and get sad and just be apparently shitting bricks because it's scary as well, apparently, and it's very intensely violent. So, fun. fun. This was an alright day. Could have been different, could have been worse. I think that's a Charlie Brown quote. There's something close to that. Where he says, you know, it was a day, something. It could always have been worse, which I very much believe and subscribe to. You have a whatever day, And you're always like, could have been worse. And you got to kind of hold on to that. Exactly. Exactly. But yeah, long week ahead for me at least. I hope you guys have a decent rest of your Sunday night here. However little left of it there is. And an alright Monday for sure, at least. So I'll hope for a decent Monday. Can you stay safe? I mentioned this earlier. I'm seeing less and less people at the grocery store wearing masks, and I'm getting to the frustrated point where I'm just like, fuck it. I hope they do get sick and die. I'm at a point where I'm just mad. I'm just pissed at people, and I want to see potentially some repercussions, some tangible things to just be like, to smack people into sense, but whatever. Probably makes me evil. Alright. Long week ahead. Hope you have a nice week. Potentially be back Monday night, tomorrow night, with this, because I'll probably be thinking about this all day while sitting at work. And enjoy the last of your Sunday here. See ya.